What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. And just a quick reminder to everyone who watched the Champions League game last night, Sir Alex Ferguson remains the last manager to beat Real Madrid in a European final, and that was 40 years ago, by the way. So, my goal, Sir Alex, 40 years ago, you know, crazy record from Real Madrid. And that actually ties into a little bit with what I want to discuss today. I want to talk about Jadon Sancho and where his future lies, and if Dortmund can afford him as a full package, basically. I want to discuss Erik Ten Hag as he reveals all in an interview that's very interesting. I don't know if it's an interview or like a presser or with like a Dutch outlet. I've been trying to look into this, but there are some quotes that have come out basically about the recruitment, everything beforehand, transfers, the potential of the current crop of players at the club. We've got INEOS. Will they make a decision? Fabrizio Romano announced on his YouTube yesterday that it's almost time to make the decision. So who knows? It could happen whilst I'm live. It could happen within the next 24 hours. We are still waiting on INEOS for that. I already mentioned that we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho, and we're also going to talk about transfers as well, because everyone loves transfers, don't they? Let's be honest. We're going to talk about Dani Olmo, Mattheus Cunha, who plays obviously for Wolves, and Mohamed Kudus, who plays for West Ham. So we'll get into the transfer talk towards the end, so make sure you stick around for that. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. 12 subs off 5,200, is it? Yeah, 5,200. So if there is anyone new who's joining live or watching this later on, you know what to do. Smash a like on the video as well if you can. Right, let's dive into these Erik Ten Hag quotes, and then I'll start reading out your comments. So get your opinions in, whether you're on TikTok or YouTube. This is your Sunday social, people. All right, this is for you guys. So make sure you're getting involved and make sure you drop your opinion, whether you're a United fan or just a football fan in general, or you want to talk about the Champions League, whatever it is. Nothing is off the table. So let's get into it. So the quotes from Erik Ten Hag. I'll talk about the recruitment first, because he speaks about previous. He doesn't name drop him, but basically he's speaking about Murta and he's speaking about Richard Arnold as well. He's saying the prices paid for players are indeed very high, but I am not responsible for that. The club did all the negotiations, including with very good potential players who didn't come in the end. It's all a bit more nuanced than the picture that is being painted, that the purchase policy is disastrous. It's all negative, but despite all the problems, the foundation at the club has grown stronger. That may not all be visible to the outside world now, but everyone internally will make that analysis. And in that regard, I've always had a bit of sympathy for Erik Ten Hag, because he does get the shtick with the Antony thing and that he was pushing for the signing. But he didn't push United to pay 85 million quid. United paid 85 million quid simply because for the past 10 years, we have been a reactive club rather than a proactive club. We never really planned signings. I mean, last summer, they was chasing De Jong for fucking 12 weeks, I think it was, back and forth. And then it ended up being reactive again and going to get Casemiro towards the end of the window, which was never planned. And Antony as well towards the end of the window, which was never planned. They wanted Harry Kane, didn't really work out. And then it was like, yeah, obviously that was the first year that I'm alluding to under Erik Ten Hag. So the whole kind of process above him was just an absolute shambles. And Murta and Arnold are just chuckle brothers, mate. Audio is weird, can't hear. Sorry, 1 second. Let me know if that's any better. I think it was connected to my speaker. So anyone in the chat, let me know if that's any. Apologies about that. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Otherwise, I would have just been waffling. Sorry if you guys missed anything. I'm basically talking about Murta and Arnold when Erik Ten Hag first came in, and now the whole kind of transfer. You'll know anyway. I don't need to tell you, but you'll know how the whole transfer show was just an absolute shambles. I mean, Murta and Arnold together are like the Chuckle brothers. They went to Barcelona, I think, about 5 times and came back with nothing. They went to Turin to meet Rabiot's mum, got a slap in the face, and then came back with the keks in the fucking suitcase. So these guys just couldn't negotiate a free delivery service. It was absolutely terrible. He speaks about the foundation at the club will be stronger, and I have no doubt about that. But I think we need to see some action for INEOS. At the moment, it's all talk. It's all, we're going to get this guy in. We're going to do that. We promise we'll do this. We'll deliver it. United, I reckon, 2-3 years' time, challenging, blah, blah, blah. It's all talk at the minute. You need to see action. And as soon as that window opens, that is the minute that you are going to be judged on what you do. how quickly you get deals done, how much you get taken for a mug. Because agents in football right now, they know United as a cash cow, basically. Like, we can just throw their name into the mix, get a bit of, push the competitive price up, and United will probably end up paying anyway. Do you know what I mean? So, are we buying Dani Olmo, says David O'Shea. I'll talk about Olmo towards the end. All the transfer talk's going to be at the end. All the most recent links, anyway. So, yeah, I'll discuss that, don't worry. Ten Hag goes on to say, with talents like Mainoo, Garnacho, Højlund, and also someone like Amad Diallo, who's developed very, very strongly, the future of Manchester United looks bright. He spoke about on signing players in the current squad. He said, you can start playing towards the top 4 with such an 11. That gives me hope and is also realistic in my eyes. That is the one thing that you have to say is positive. Oh, my God. Killing Mbappe to Madrid. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Romano dropping absolute bombs as I am live right now. Let me get that up. Let me just switch screens. I know it's not United news. And I know it doesn't really tie in with what I'm speaking about. But come on, that is massive. Let me just switch screen. Look at that, people. Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. Here we go. Every document's been signed, sealed, and completed. Real Madrid set to announce Mbappe's new signing next week after winning the Champions League. Mbappe made his decision in February. He can now be considered a new Real Madrid player. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. Vinicius, potentially a Ballon d'Or winner, and Kylian Mbappe, potentially a Ballon d'Or winner. Both of them up top. Not to mention Jude Bellingham behind him. Not to mention Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Militao, Rudiger, Courtois. I mean, you saw the team yesterday, just absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, I know that's a separate thing to United, and apologies to United fans if you're just not interested in this in whatsoever, but that is a global story right there. Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. How will he fit in? Let's just park this for a minute. Let's just sit on it for a couple of minutes, just to peek a bit. You know, we're all football fans, so we can discuss it for a moment. Just to think about it. How do you fit Vinicius? Exactly. David just said it there. The balance. How do you fit Vinicius and Mbappe together? Do you play a diamond with Bellingham as the kind of advanced 10 and you have like split strikers a bit? You know, I don't know how they're going to work it. I think, look, it's a nice problem to have if you've got Vinicius and Mbappe in the same team. But you could affect the balance. And I'm not just speaking in terms of on the pitch. I'm speaking in terms of like, you know, Mbappe's got a giant ego. A giant ego. The wages that he was on at PSG was absolutely astronomical. So, you know, we could clash. He could go to that club like, what are you on about, Vinny? I'm starting, mate. This is my position. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you got Hendrick as well, who Josh has just mentioned. I suppose one thing you could say, you know, I think, is Ancelotti staying for another year? So, if that is the case, then, you know, he can manage egos. He's probably the best at it. Vinny has an ego as well. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it'll clash. They'll play a 4-3-3 formation with Mbappe in the middle. Is Mbappe, will you get the best out of him in the middle, though? I think the counter-attacks in Europe, Jesus Christ. You know, if City play against Madrid now, for example, they'll just leave Vinny, Mbappe, and Bellingham to advance when you need it. Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, and Bellingham. Arguably, 3 of the best players in the world right now. That is nuts. People talk to me. That is absolutely nuts, isn't it? Crazy, man. Anyway, sorry, I'll go back to... Unless people want me to stay on this, I'll go back to the United talk. Yeah, right, let's switch it back. Let's go. Right, where was he at? Sorry. You know what? I'll circle back round and I'll come back to that towards the end of the show, so just bear that in mind. Where was I at? I was talking about, the... Amad Diallo, Mainoo, Garnacho, and the potential that we've got. And that is the one positive thing I believe that we have. I think you look at the 4 players, Amad's only 21, Rasmus 21, Garnacho and Kobe are both 19 years old. You've got a top talented midfielder there. You've got an established winger in Garnacho. Rasmus looks the part, but obviously needs, and it's probably an experienced striker to guide him a little bit. And that's where I feel like United have failed slightly. Not bringing in certain, maybe even like you look at someone like Wayne Rooney, who's mentioned it on Stick to Football with Gary Neville. Like, they don't let Rooney come in and have a chat with Højlund. You know, even if it's a little piece of advice, it can always go a long way. We've seen it with previous players before, having that kind of that mentor, because he hasn't got one. Who's Rasmus Højlund's striking mentor at the minute? I'm sure Benny McCarthy, when he was there, worked closely with him and was looking after him. But in terms of like players on the pitch, dressing room, who's that mentor for him? Probably Bruno Fernandes, but he's not a striker. You know, so you need someone giving him pointer tips, like all that kind of stuff. Ronaldo would have been perfect, to be honest. You know, kind of setting the standard, doing what he does. But yeah, I think the 4 players that we've got, really good. Do not surround them players with bad eggs, because they're going to grow into top potential, in my opinion. I think they're going to be starting 11 players for the foreseeable. But you need to surround them with good senior pros, I would suggest. And I'm excited to see next season how they come on and what kind of players we sign as well. Are we going to sign any experienced players in the window? Or are you going to go, again, for more the Real Madrid model, ironically, where you go by the kind of younger potential route, signing players under 24, for example? I don't know, but I do think you need some experience in and around them to help them, to make sure they grow into the right type of player as well. Because you can have all the natural ability in the world, but yeah, it means nothing if you don't have people guiding them properly. Who will replace Benny McCarthy as the forward coach? I'm not sure. I haven't seen any links at the moment, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anything at all, so I can't really comment on that. Right, let's get into the people in YouTube then. How are we all doing, you lovely, lovely individuals? I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend, and you're all doing really, really well. Billy Nelson says, what interview is this? Well, I've kind of just covered that, so I hope you've, yeah. Stephanie Griffiths saying, vote, like, and subscribe. Thank you very much, Steph. What an absolute legend. Big up, Nick. You know, everyone's in a good mood today. I can say the sun's shining. It's Sunday. How good is that? You know what I mean? You can't really say that many times in Manchester. But, of course, not everyone is in Manchester. For someone like Sean, who's saying, get a move on INEOS, probably in Bangkok. You know, he's probably wants a bit of rain. I don't know what the weather's like over there. Let me know, Sean. Random guys in the chat as well. Good afternoon to you, sir. From the future buys of Casemiro, Saudi. Ed Barrett's retracted a message. Chicken shawarma kebab and fries done in. Time for a Sprite and a suit with some real Reds talk. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, I mean, you can't get much better than that. Chicken shawarma kebab fries and a Sprite and a zoot. What a combination that is. That's like the most sort of urban meal deal you've ever seen in your life, innit? Chicken shawarma kebab and fries with a Sprite and a zoot. Love it. Murta got enough air miles last summer to join Etihad's 115 air mile club. Very nice. Richard Hawkins is also in the chat. Big up Richard, who's a real Red Ultra member. If they can't fit one of them in, we'll swap Anthony for any of them. Oh, 100%. 7 likes, 28 people watching. Early likes, please, people. 40 viewers in the chat. How are we all doing? Smash that like button, hit subscribe as well. Sorry, people at TikTok, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just getting through the comments on the YouTube section. I want to make sure I get through them. He's on holiday, apparently. I'm in Lancashire and it's about to rain, says Kirk. I'm not far from Lancashire, but it looks sunny in a minute. I don't know what to tell you. I'll update you like the weatherman. Bangkok is rainy season now. Rains once every 3 days and absolutely chucks it down, thunder and lightning, then an hour or two. I don't mind that. Rainy season. Give me a bit of rainy season. I'm one of them guys. Sorry, I know I'm really going off track and I'm not speaking about the Erik Ten Hag interview, but I'm just having a conversation with my people. I like a bit of rain at night where it's like, it's quiet, you know, girlfriend's asleep, everyone else is asleep, and it's dark, there's no lights on, and you can just hear the rain hitting the window or the roof. That is absolute tranquility to me. I could sit there for hours and just listen to rain. But yeah, I'm a little bit weird. I prefer rain almost to sun. I'm a little bit strange in that. For the record, I'm from Newton Heath, but live in Bangkok. What a story that is, from Newton Heath to Bangkok. You're an inspiration, Sean. Right, let's get back to the story anyway. I can't remember where I was at now. Okay, so let's go into the next quotes. The plan, this is from Erik Ten Hag, by the way. This isn't a quote coming out directly from my mouth. The plan last year was clear. We buy a striker and get a goalkeeper who's able to shape the football from behind and an extra midfielder. That was the approach. And in theory, we would then be stronger and be able to take the next step. Now, in terms of the recruitment, last summer, the one striker, I understand, right? Because I think Ten Hag's explained this. He said, look, Marcus Rashford scored 30 goals in all competitions yesterday. We didn't think we'd be struggling for goals as much as we was. So bringing in Rasmus, I understood. And obviously Martial had his injury problems, but he could still play here or there last season. So that, I understand. Now, Mason Mount, I really like as a player, but that signing, when you look back at it, doesn't really make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because we have Bruno Fernandes, who, as everyone knows, is always available. Always available. So you're rarely going to get a time, 1 or 2 times in a year, probably, if you look at where that spot will become vacant and that spot will become open. So obviously he signed Mason Mount, I'm guessing, as like the Eriksen kind of replacement, because Eriksen was playing quite a lot in the first season under Ten Hag. Because Eriksen's legs was going, you know, Mount's much more kind of dynamic, much presses a lot more, gives you more off the ball, effectively. So that's why I thought he signed Mason Mount. So I was like, okay. But then the issue that you have is Kobbie Mainoo's rise. I ain't taking Kobbie Mainoo out of the team for Mason Mount. Not a prayer, mate. Not a chance am I taking him out of the team. So then what do you do with him? Where does Mason Mount fit in permanently? I don't know. I don't know. Genuinely, don't know. So that to me, when you're saying like you spent £60 million on Mason Mount, it is a little bit strange. It's a little bit bizarre. That signing, I like him. I thought I could see where he would fit, but it hasn't worked out like that. And then his injuries have been diabolical, so God knows what they're going to do with him now. Onana, again, we haven't seen the best out of him because the issues that we've had in front. He's never had a stable back four in front of him to play out from the back. You know, when Johnny Evans has to play there, or like the young kid Camboire or whatever, it's chopping and changing constantly. So there's no consistency in front of you. But there is no doubt with Onana as well, he has got better and better and better and better throughout the season. The start of the season, I was one of the ones screaming from the rooftops saying, get this guy gone. What is he going? What is he going? What is he doing? You look at the Champions League campaign, for example, some of the absolute howlers he had in there. The Galatasaray game, I was losing my rag with him. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. 2 free kicks from Ziyech, and he fumbles them both. You know, he was the sole purpose and the sole reason why we got knocked out of the Champions League. Now, people would argue, even if we got through anyway, we would have lost at a certain point, especially the way we was playing towards the back end of the season. But the mistakes he made were absolutely massive, weren't they? Absolutely massive. But he's improved. He's been much better in the league. He's made some amazing saves. He did some really good saves in the City game especially. But then the one at his near post from Doku, that's the thing with Onana for me. And I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here and a bit of a rant. But with Onana, he does some really good saves, but then you look at him sometimes, it's like a really unorthodox pattern, the way he dives. He'll dive a bit early sometimes, and do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bit of confusion. And I had to look into this. I did a bit of research as to why he's got such an unorthodox kind of pattern. And they did some tests at Ajax, basically, to see why he was doing it. And he had this kind of belief that, it was much quicker to get lower to the ground, to gamble on it. And statistically, he was right. It was better. So they just kind of stuck with it. But since he's come to United, there's been a lot of, like, Brentford game. First thing that comes to my mind. You know, where Casemiro gives it away. There's like 3 mistakes in a row, I think it was. Casemiro gives it away. Lindelof gives it away. Excuse me. And then Onana just kind of dives awkwardly and it goes in. So, I don't know. I'm still not absolutely convinced on Andre Onana, but that's just me personally. I do think he's good. I have faith in him going into next season. Let's see how he does with a stable back four in front of him, and when he's not saving, 200,000 shots per game, then I will be able to properly judge him, I think. Right, let's get into the chat then, because there's quite a lot of views. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 5,200 subs. We're currently on 5,190. So if there's 10 of you in the chat who haven't subscribed yet, please do, especially TikTok as well. Click the link in the description. Let's get into everyone's chats and see what your opinions are saying, because that is the most important part of the show. Right, let's have a look. Maybe at the right wing, he would be the crossing type. Richard saying, well, I thought Mason Mount was brought in to give Bruno a break every few games. The issue is, though, Richard, he's never... I agree with you, but he's never going to be dropped, is he? The guy's relentless. He must have... Bruno Fernandes, right, for his breakfast, must have about 9 cans of Monster, 20 Weetabix, and a steroid injection or something. Something absolutely crazy, because the guy is just relentless, man. He's always available. I thought Mount signing was bizarre, says Steph. Perhaps he was Eriksen's upgrade, but looks like a long-term Bruno replacement. That's an interesting one, because obviously Mount's 24, Bruno's 30. maybe there's something in that. I don't know. Glad Real Madrid sent Sancho sad, says Lucky Singh. Sanil D1 says Erik Ten Hag out. Going strong. Interesting. Steph saying Onana's slow motion diving bad, but like his positivity and his leadership. I did like the interview that he did with Gary Neville, where he was talking like, I'm here to take bullets, forget about the young players, I'm the experienced one. Do you think I've gone bad overnight? Like, his attitude and his confidence, that is absolutely what you need from a goalkeeper at Manchester United, because it is one of the most difficult positions ever. So, yeah. Someone mentioned Jadon Sancho in the chat then. Should we talk about him? Because that is not the elephant in the room, but it's quite a big topic in it. And I think his future is going to be very interesting. Condolences to him who missed out on the Champions League trophy last night. I reckon Ten Hag was probably sat there with his FA Cup, looking at the TV thinking, interesting. I also thought Jose Mourinho's comments, people in TikTok, let me know what you think, on Jadon Sancho failing at United was interesting. He said, normally, it's multifactorial. It's not just the manager, the player, the family, the agent, the club. Normally, it's multifactorial. So he said that twice. As a player, we know his talent. There's no doubt about it. What happened at Manchester United, if I took my own history, sometimes I failed with players. I couldn't create the right empathy, understand the player DNA. Now, with Jadon Sancho, is a very divisive person. A lot of the United fans, from what I've seen from people I've interacted with, like yourselves, even chatting to people at Old Trafford, they hate his laziness, they hate his attitude towards the game. But there is no doubt that there is definitely a talent in that player, 100%. But we failed to see it under, consistently under 3 different coaches, under Ole, Rangnick, and Ten Hag. Say whatever you want about them coaches. Sancho's got a history of this. 3 coaches at United. You look at his time, even you go back to his early stage. If you study Jadon Sancho, right, from his Watford days, there was coaches at Watford talking about how he just got really uninterested, very easy. He got bored. Sometimes he wouldn't work off the ball. He needs a lot of working with. And when you're a teenager, that's fine, right? Sometimes you have these cobwebs in your game and you can get them out the more you play and the more you play at a higher standard. Usually they will kind of drift away. That didn't happen. Moved to Man City, wanted more game time. And then, Pep had issues with him. So then he moved over to Borussia Dortmund. And then he was turning up to training late at Dortmund. He's having people taking him to training to make sure he got on time. And then the whole situation at United, the social media post, left that pinned on his profile for weeks. Was playing like clubs on the night before a really important game. There's a lot of things there that worry me about a player. If you're going to do... We always talk about the scouting at United, right? And how it needs to be spot on and how you need to do a proper, efficient profile check. Fergie used to always talk about it as well. Like, are you married? Have you got kids? To check the stability in the life. Is this stability in the life? If not, sometimes that would affect players on the pitch. David Beckham was an enigma in that sense because he could handle everything off the pitch and would still be focused and still play high level on the pitch. But Sancho just doesn't... I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the Premier League. I don't know if it's just United, the environment. Obviously, he's better at Dortmund. It's clear to see he is better at Dortmund. So the conclusion you make from that, after I finish rambling, you let him stay in Dortmund. But Dortmund can't afford his wages. They've said that they can afford the transfer fee, for example, but they can't afford his wages. So I don't know how you handle... That's a massive stumbling block for United. Do you bring him back and say... do you be stubborn and say, look, if you can't afford his wages, don't be shopping in... you're shopping in Gucci, mate. You need to be shopping in Woolworths. Or is Woolworths even a thing anymore? I don't know. You need to be shopping in somewhere where you can afford it. We bring him back. If Ten Hag's still here, I don't know how they get past that. Because both of them, if you read into what Benny McCarthy said about Sancho, he said he didn't want to apologise because then he would be accepting that he's lazy and he didn't work hard and he wasn't training correctly, and he doesn't believe that. So I don't think that's going to change because a few months have gone by. He's just lost the Champions League final with Dortmund. I actually thought if he would have won the Champions League with Dortmund, it would have played into our hands because then, a bit more money for Dortmund, pressure goes up. A lot of fans would be like, sign him. You need to sign him. Look what he's done. I didn't think the performance yesterday was necessarily from him individually was amazing. He's the last one, the semi-finals was a very good cameo. Yesterday it was one of them, like he was in and out of the game. But the best resolution for Jadon Sancho, in my opinion, try and sell him to Dortmund, but they're going to struggle with the wages. So I don't know what you do with that. Good luck to INEOS, because they have got so many decisions to make. Right, should we do some? I'll do some transfer talk. I want to talk about Dani Olmo and Mattheus Cunha. Make sure you do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll read all of you lovely people in the chat on TikTok and YouTube, all your comments right now. Sean saying Onana is a paradox. If he can cut out the errors, he'd be world class. Hopefully we see the best of him once the play style develops. He's always a risk though. Sanio saying Ten Hag out. Sorry, I've already read that out. Onana, slow motion diving, bad, but like his positivity and leadership. Vincent saying it's because Bruno shops at Tesco and every little helps. A little joke there. Love that, Vince. Sanio saying 2 years in charge, 500 million spent. This man wants to start his rebuild. Look, if you're happy with the FA, Carabao Cups, keep him. But if you want to compete with Madrid, City for titles, we deserve better, says Sanio. He is absolutely focused on getting rid of Erik Ten Hag. Steph saying 74 watching, only 14 likes. Yeah, please do hit that like button. Come on, people. It's Sunday. The sun is shining for majority of people, unless you're Sean. And the Euros kick off soon. Something to be happy about, I suppose. Bring him back and loan him to Wayne at Plymouth. Sancho at Plymouth, not a chance. Richard saying I like Cunha. And Srini saying Erik Ten Hag in, stop other BS. He's standing firm with his man there. What are we saying in TikTok? Mbappe set for Real Madrid. Spoken about that. And keep Sancho, says Valentine. That's what football's all about. Everyone has different opinions. A mixture of opinions. Absolutely. Get them involved. Okay then. So, this is coming from Ben Jacobs. Let me have a swig of me can. Dani Olmo is a player that has been scouted by Manchester United. He has a release clause for £51 million that comes into effect this summer, but only until mid-July. Anyone who's watched Olmo, attacking midfielder, can play on the left side as well. Do we need I mean, we've just literally been speaking about Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes in the same kind of area. Now, maybe Leipzig Ultras will tell me, oh, he can play on the right, or he can play as a false nine or whatever. If so, I'll have a discussion. But if he's predominantly a left attacking player or can play centrally, we don't need players in that area. We have got to buy this summer, right? I don't think people get their head around this. We've got to buy 2 centre-backs. We've got to buy a left-back. We was looking at a right-back if Wan-Bissaka goes. We've got to buy a midfielder. We want to buy a creative winger, and we want to buy a second striker. How on earth are you going to buy Dani Olmo for £51 million as a third option as a 10 or a winger? Just like, am I the only one who's seeing this? Like, just so bizarre to me. So yeah, we've already got Bruno Mount in the 10, and we've got Garnacho and Rashford on the left-hand side. I really like the player, but we've got way too many positions to prioritise talking about that. So that, I don't see that happening. I'd be absolutely surprised if that happens. And yeah, on the other hand, the other player that we've been linked with, Mattheus Cunha, I would be interested in this. This is coming from Simon Bates, I think it is. Scouts consistently tracked Cunha last season. He's believed to be high on their list of targets. I like him because what you need to do with the striker situation, I think Rasmus is going to be your number one, right? Or at least I would believe that. You spend 70 million quid, you have to put faith in him. He's your number one striker. And I think that's one of the reasons why there was and ahhing about Sesko or certain other players that we've been linked with. Like, what players would be happy to be a bit of a rotational player? Cunha would be one of them. If you look at how hard he works off the ball, look at his technical ability on the ball, the power that he has, I'm a fan. I like him. I think it could be an interesting buy, but I'm not sure how much. I would say Atletico Madrid then. I'm not sure how much Wolves would want because I think they paid about 50 million quid. I'm sure actually he's one of their most expensive signings. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, let me know. There's 91 of you in the YouTube chat. Talk to me. Cunha, Olmo, Mohamed Kudus as well has been mentioned as like another option. But again, that's another creative winger. Are we going to buy Elise and Kudus? And how much are West Ham going to sell Kudus for? Because he bought him for 40, 50 mil. Are we going to spend another 85 million on that? This is why I absolutely categorically know a lot of these are just journalists wake up in the morning. They probably go on a random name generator on the phone and they'll go, right, what's coming up today? Premier League random generator, boom. Kudus, right, tick that off. Boom. Cunha, tick that off. Right, yeah. We'll link them somehow. Cunha's Cat wandered past Old Trafford one day. There's a link. Right, we've got it. This United want to sign this guy and this player. His cat loves Old Trafford. He's gonna, like it's just nonsense. The majority of it's nonsense. Sam always references, is it Training Day with Denzel Washington, where he's got the paper and he goes, 90% of this is absolute crap. But I read it just because I enjoy it. I enjoy the speculation. And journalists know when it's transfer season, I'm at it. You know what I mean? Open the floodgates. We're signing, hooking, I don't know, some random kid. Just link you with anyone, United, especially because they know it gets clicks. Ed Barrett, Dortmund earned an add-on because Bellingham won it. It was either 5 million difference. Oh, yeah, I heard that story, actually. Someone mentioned that to me yesterday. It's 8:25 here, and the sun is definitely shining. Roasting, mate. No rain today. That's good old Sean in Bangkok. Richard saying we need a number 6 at the moment. Yeah, I agree. Not an ATM. I agree with that. New Chelsea defender is good. We need only a lease, says Paul. Super Arch saying think Bruno might leave. Will be a contract standoff for Bruno. Well, I'd spoken about that on the show yesterday. I think with Bruno, I think his agent putting the stuff out there. You saw Romano what he put on his Instagram that he's speaking to several clubs. They are definitely putting pressure on Man United for a new contract, and you can't blame him. When you start getting to the age of 30, you start looking at contracts, so it's like 5 years. Do you know what I'm saying? I want a 5-year deal. I want to earn this amount of money. Saudi are offering me this. Someone in Europe's offering me this as well. What are you going to do? And that's another situation where you look at INEOS and you don't really envy him because you're like, how do you handle that situation? I spoke about it yesterday. Do you give him a 5-year contract or do you give him a 2? And then he's like, why you only give me a 2? Do you not believe in me? Do you not think I could play for the next 3 to 4 years? And agents start getting involved and it starts getting all messy and yeah. Someone just put Mbappe to Madrid. Here we go. I've spoken about it before, about 10 minutes ago. But I will come back to that. I'm nearly at the end of this bit. So if you want me to talk about Mbappe and dive into that, I can do because obviously it's a huge story. And I can't remember where I was at then, whoever I was speaking about, but you all take my point. I like Tickle Me Olmo, but there's no room for him. Elise would be the priority. Kudus and Olmo could be backup alternatives, but needing a CDM and 2 centre-backs first, only one of them coming in. I'll have to leave the club if Erik Ten Hag goes, says Lucky Singh. Right, let's do I've already done a poll, sorry. I put a poll up at the start of the show, and there's 90 views in the chat at a minute on YouTube. People in TikTok, come and join us. Don't be shy. Would you sell Jadon Sancho? And by an absolute landslide, 91% said yes and 9% said no. 91% said yes. 9% said no. So out of the 9%, and I'm not targeting or anything, just curious why you would like to see Jadon Sancho, whoever it is, if you're still in the chat, why you would like to see Jadon Sancho at the club, and do you believe he could be successful at the club as well, and will that be under a different manager? Let me know. I'm just going to see if anything's breaking whilst I'm live, because typically it usually happens. No, just a Fabrizio Romano. I mean, that Mbappe thing's probably going to be I reckon, his biggest tweet, most retweeted one, and most viewed. It's already on 3.3 million views, which is absolutely outrageous. But yeah, we can finish with the Mbappe story if people want to do that. I don't mind. 93 and counting. Drop them likes, people. It takes 2 seconds. Don't be a Sancho. Yeah. It's pronounced Elise, not Elise. Elise? Apologies about my pronunciations. If you know me, Chibi, I always get shit wrong. Christos Jones says, are we still interested for Amadou Onana? We are, but the issue is with it is his price. Because if you want to go and get Jared Brandflakes, or as other people may know him as Branthwaite, that's going to cost probably 60 to 70 million quid. I think that's what Everton want, right? Amadou Onana is probably going to cost, I think they spent 50 million quid on him, so they're going to want 60, 70 as well. Man United going to spend 140 million pound on 2 Everton players. I don't see it happening. And the links aren't as strong with Amadou Onana as they are with Branthwaite, in my personal opinion. I like Amadou Onana. I think he would complement Kobbie Mainoo. I think his physicality profile, what he offers in both boxes in terms of defensive flair and defensive flair, is good. I think he's a little bit raw on the ball and can improve on that. That's what you need, yeah. But I think him and Kobbie would complement each other. We really need physicality in that team. I'm looking at Bruno, Kobbie, you know, Casemiro, for example, Garnacho, Rashford, Dalot, Lissandro, they're all quite like meaty, not meaty players. That's absolutely the wrong word. Like they're not that physically strong, are they? That physically capable. Do you know what I'm saying? You need someone who's a bit of a brute, a bit of a, you know, like Jose Mourinho's teams. You go through that full spine of the team. They just got physicality everywhere. Your Ivanoviches, your fucking John Obi Mikel's, these kind of, like, you need a couple of them players in there, I think, in our squad. Just from what I've watched this season, in my personal opinion. Ed Lalou says, in your opinion, what signing is a must and the most important moving forward? Very good question, Ed. Thank you for that. The most important signing, in my opinion, is the 6. Because we've got a striker, and we need a second striker, but we do actually have one. I think Sofian Amrabat is an interesting one. I don't think United are going to sign him permanently, but I would definitely consider it, even if it's squad depth. 13 million quid for Amrabat. The way he played in the final, he put in a better performance than Rodri. And by no stretch of the imagination, I'm not saying he's a better player than Rodri. Don't get it twisted, I'm not. But I'm just saying, when you show that level of performance, does that not pique your interest to go and, you know, say 30 million quid in today's market? I would definitely take a look at that. But yeah, the midfield, I think we need a world-class 6. You look at I know Rice can play more as an 8 and pushes up for Arsenal, but you look at the impact that Declan Rice has had at Arsenal is nothing short of sensational. You look at the impact Rodri's had at City. I mean, when City don't have him in the team, it's curtains, mate. And you can go through any team. That is such an important position. You need a world-class player there. And it transforms the team immediately. Casemiro can't do another season there. He's been all over the place. But Amrabat I would have as a backup. So I think the 6, sorry, I'm really, really elaborating on this, but there's about a million thoughts going through my head. I think centre-back is definitely important. I love Lissandro, so obviously he's going to be a starting one. But then who do you put alongside him? I like Branflakes. I think Branflakes is perfect, but it depends on the price. Todibo is more of a risk and a gamble, in my opinion. But again, 40 million quid. It's an easy deal to do. You could see the potential for a Varane replacement, in my opinion. So yeah, they're the 2 priority positions, no doubt about it. It's like we need a spine again. I remember saying after Ollie left, saying like, fucking hell, we've got Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Bruno, yeah, that's fine. And then whoever it was at the time who was playing up top, you know, Martial or whatever, like, my God, we need a new spine of the team. We bought Casemiro, we bought Lissandro, and you sat there going, all right, that's okay. And then each player has their individual issues, and it starts getting sticky then and a bit like, yeah, all over the place. Regardless of who, this is T2 says, regardless of who the manager is, Sancho can't be allowed to stay. That kind of behaviour is toxic and won't help in developing an elite performance culture at the club. Sorry, people. Sorry. Oh, chest is so bad at the moment. I agree with you. I agree. I don't want to see Sancho come back to the club, but I think there's a possibility that it does happen because no one can afford his wages. So I think we need to, as a community and fans, we need to start expecting the reality of the situation. I can't see him being sold. I really, really can't. We currently have 113 people in the chat. That's absolutely amazing. We're on 5,195 subscribers. So just 5 subs. If there's people in the chat who haven't subscribed yet, please do. It'll help us out tremendously. Much more than you would be aware of. And hit that like button as well. Let's get some more people into the chat. Let's discuss it. Likewise with TikTok as well. If you don't follow us on TikTok or Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the handles are at the top there. Completely different platforms. The reels that we put out on TikTok and Instagram, the posts we put on Twitter, the interactions, the news posts that Sam puts out every day are fantastic. Yeah, the guys in the chat will tell you anyway, who are already part of this community. Also, if you want to become a Real Red Ultra member for exclusive content, we've got a video dropping on Man City's 115 charges. That is going to drop within the next 2 days. So it's been filmed. It just needs editing, and that'll be put out in the next 2 days. So make sure you guys who are already members in the chat, make sure you keep an eye out for that, because that'll be dropping very, very shortly. We're 2 subs off 5,200 people. So thank you very much, whoever's done that. You're all a bunch of legends. And we shall end. Are we selling Ten Hag? We're not going to sell him. He's not a player. We can't sell him, Bush. We're putting him on market. He might be sacked. And I think that decision, realistically, I mean, it's got to be within the next 24 hours, I would imagine, or within the next 2 days at a push. I think INEOS are going to make a decision on Manchester United, on Erik Ten Hag, sorry. I think United need one centre forward, one centre mid, and one centre back at the very least. I agree, GG. I think the spine of the team is a must going into next season, undoubtedly. Greenwood carries United, can't see selling. No, I think United sell Greenwood. Pure profit. And absolutely should sell him. Fling it. I don't... That is one player that is non-negotiable with me. Sell him, get the 40 million quid, spend it. That's my opinion. David Harrington saying, I've just joined and seen the chat. I want Ten Hag to stay, but surely can't beat the Zerbe with the he hasn't won a trophy stick. He hasn't managed anyone. Who's he expected to win trophies? That I understand, but if you know the dressing room, David, you know, for example, someone like a Graham Potter, how is he walking in that dressing room when you won a Swedish Cup and commanding respect? You know, these players, and maybe the argument you'll throw back is, well, get rid of the players then. I agree. But you can't get rid of 20 players in one summer. It's just not realistic. So you need someone who commands authority. You need someone who's a bit of a disciplinarian, but also a little bit of two sides to him, you know. And Ten Hag knows the fabric of the club. That's just why I would keep him. He knows the players. He knows the situation inside out. That's why I would keep him for another year. I think the Zerbi would clash with a lot of players. I don't know. I just don't see De Zerbi being a good fit. I don't know what it is. I might be in the minority with that, but I don't. Dark Crow says, I subscribed and like. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. We have just hit 5,200, so you're all a bunch of legends. I genuinely appreciate that, so thank you so much. And likewise with people in TikTok as well. Appreciate that. Right, I'm going to end on this Mbappe story because loads of people are talking about it, and they keep mentioning it. So, yeah, let's get into it. Hopefully it's on there. Nope, it's not on there. Let me just switch. I've got the YouTube studio up there. A little sneak peek into that. So, yeah, we'll end with this. What do we all think? Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. Here we go. Every document has been signed and sealed and completed. Real Madrid set to announce Mbappe as the new signing next week after winning the Champions League. Mbappe made his decision in February. He can now be considered new Real player. Here we go, Fabrizio Romano. Let me ask you one question. And this is what we're going to end on. This is the big discussion that we're going to end on, right? Who deserves the Ballon d'Or? Who deserves it? Who's been the best player in the world? And also, do you think Mbappe and Vinny can work in the same team? Two questions there for you. So, you guys who are watching TikTok, you guys in the YouTube, talk to me. Let me switch screens and we'll get into the debate and we'll have a real discussion about this. Let me just have a swig of my drink because my throat's absolutely killing. It depends after the Euros. Ooh, that's an interesting one. So, like, for example, Darren's saying Bellingham should win it. If Bellingham wins the Euros, he's surely got to be the Ballon d'Or winner, right? Obviously, you got Vinny who's doing Copa America. I'm not sure when that actually kicks off. If England win the Euros, I think it's got to be Bellingham. It has to be Jude Bellingham. No? What do we think? Dave's saying Mbappe scored so many goals this season. If France win the Euros, he'll get it as well. Oh, yeah, shit, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, maybe it's just Menu for the Ballon d'Or. Absolutely, Sean. Yes. Menu for the Ballon d'Or. Let's go. Foden. Yeah, maybe there's a shout for Foden. I do think, though, with the Ballon d'Or, with it being like a European kind of thing, I think when you win the Champions League, that's a big, you know, if Foden would have won the Champions League and the Premier League this season, then absolutely. I just don't think Foden will win it. Copper kicks off on the 21st of June, says Ed Laluz. Thank you very much. So, yeah. And obviously, the Ballon d'Or gets announced at the end of the year, doesn't it? Didn't they change, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they change the way that they do it? Because isn't usually it's calendar year, so from January to December, but now are they doing it seasonal, I think? Pretty sure I read that somewhere. I might be going a bit cuckoo, but I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, you know what? I didn't even take the Euros into consideration or the Copa America. What do you do if they both win it? You know, if England win it, you've got Foden there, won the Euros, won the Premier League. You got Bellingham there, won the Euros, won La Liga, and won the Champions League. And did he win another trophy as well? What was the other trophy? I'm pretty sure it was, because he was speaking about it last night. And then Mbappe. Mbappe, if he wins the league, top goal scorer, and wins the Euros. So I do think, actually, when you come to think about it, it has a lot of significance, doesn't it, that Euro trophy. And I think it could, as long as they don't meet in the quarters or semis, I think it could be a France and England final. I want to make a bold prediction. I think the last four of the Euros. Sorry, people. Sound's gone, apparently. Are we all good? Apologies about that. I don't know how long the sound's been gone for. I hope not a while, because I've just been giving you some absolute facts about the Euros. So the last four teams, I think France, Germany, Portugal, England. I would love to see that. Portugal and France semi-final. England and Germany semi-final. England meet France. We got knocked out by them last time, and then we win. What are we saying? That's how I see it going. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, on TikTok it'd be fine. It's just a mic on YouTube where I'm at the minute. But the audio levels are coming through, so you should be able to hear me. Big up Mark, my brother. Please, we don't need Sancho again. Let Man United replace him. The sound's back. Awesome. Awesome. We are going to be live again, by the way, tonight at 7 o'clock. Me and the couple of lads, I think, are going to be on. But regardless, even if they're not, I'll be here. I'll be live with you guys. So, you know, as long as we're here, that's all that matters. Sancho would be the first goal for me this summer, mate, says Dino. Nice to see you, Dino. Hope you're good, mate. Yeah. It's a talking point, innit? It's a talking point. I just don't know how they're going to... I've just gone mute. Has it gone mute again? Surely not. It says my audio levels are fine. I think people are having me on. I don't know. Edla Luz says, I'm not English, but I do think you guys will go close to winning this time round. Outstanding looking team. Shame about the tactician. No, it's okay. Oh, my God. Everyone's confusing me. Is the sound all right? Yes or no? Ed saying no sound. Dave saying no, it's okay. Is the sound? If there's no sound, I can sing and my horrible voice and it'll go pierce your ears. Talk to me, people. I don't know. Yep, Steph saying it's fine. Sound is there for me, mate. Sound is good now. Awesome. Thank you very much. Lovely. Yeah, do come and join us, guys. Absolutely amazing to have so many who's in the chat and so many people subscribed. It's absolutely fantastic. Not necessarily bothered about the subscribers, although I mentioned it a lot of times. It's more about the viewers, the people interacting, the comments, the opinions, as always. Because, let's be honest, and just be open with everyone. Who wants to sit in a room talking to themselves? You know, people don't see that side of things. When we first started this channel, you know, the quality of the graphics, the camera, everything. Honestly, if you go back and watch, I beg you don't, but if you go back and watch the first video that we ever did on this, the difference, honestly, wow. I remember doing the first video and I was like, and Ilanga might be getting transferred. I remember watching it back the other day. I was like, oh my God. So the actual progression that we've gone through to get to this level now, to have so many people in the chat and so many people in TikTok and people in... honestly, it's been amazing, man. And I'm genuinely so appreciative. I don't think people realise how appreciative I am. So thank you very much. I've not had a drink, when people might say, have you been drinking lager or whatever? Not yet. I'll have a couple of cold beers later. I'll just go and sit in the garden and relax and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. And I hope you guys... I'm getting out of breath here. I hope you guys do the same. Go and have a beer. Go and have a barbecue, whatever it is you do, whilst the weather's still nice, because let's be honest, it's probably going to be pissing it down over the next couple of days. Go and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully I'll see you guys later on tonight around 7 o'clock. But keep an eye on the socials. There's going to be a couple of things going out on there, news stories, reels, posts, etc. on Twitter as well. So drop us a follow on socials. And yeah, appreciate you all. Have a lovely day, everyone. I'll see you in a bit. Legends.